We have Paul Janeway of St. Paul and the Broken Bones joining us today on Q105.3 FM. Thanks again, Paul, for coming in and joining us here in Savannah, Georgia. We can't wait to see you soon.
Yeah, we'll be there soon.
I'm excited about it, and I got some questions here for you. So
Okay.
I'm just going to jump right in and start out. I have to say, I listen to Sushi and Coca-Cola, and I love it. I have to say, Sushi and Coca-Cola is like one of my favorite things on the planet. I mean, not just the song, like actually eating it. It's something, there's nothing better. So tell me a little bit more about how you like came up with this song.
Well, very much like you just said, it's a combination that I really, really love. Honestly, it was birthed, like anything else. Like you use I put little notes in my phone and maybe little phrases and stuff, and go, oh, I think I like that or don't like that. And I was in my living room. With my wife and my little girl, and I was drinking a Mexican Coca-Cola and having some sushi, and it was just kind of this flashbulb memory that I was like, oh, that's a really sweet kind of moment. It felt like it doesn't get better than this, right? And so I wrote down that phrase, sushi and Coca-Cola, and then it was kind of in notes, and then me and the producer of this record, Egg White, were in London actually, and we were writing songs together, doing stuff, and I had that phrase. I was like, "Hey, I don't know if this is going to fit, but it sings well." And so he liked the idea, I liked the idea, and so we made a song out of it.
It's great. It's great. Super cool song. Really fun. Um, speaking of Egg, how was it working with him? This is your first album with him, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely his first one with him. It was amazing. He is a maniac, man. He's amazing, but he is has quite the it's just a phonetic energy for sure. And it was a lot of fun. It was great. It was really the band did great with it. It was because we'd never worked with him, so you never know how that's going to go. But he is really truly pretty brilliant when it comes to the songwriting and arranging, and it was really great to have that partnership in the room.
So this is your sixth studio album that's actually will be coming out at the beginning of next month. October 10th is what I have to be
Yep,
exact.
that's it.
So you went with a self-titled album. So why did you decide to go self-titled this time around, and what kind of got you to this point of, I guess, maybe confident enough that you could just say, "Hey, our name is enough to put on the album."
I don't know if it's out of confidence. It's more out of I think it's more out of it felt we we're six records in, right? And so we felt like with that last record, the fifth record, that whatever we were trying to prove to ourselves or to the audience or whatever the motivation was, we had done that. It felt like the end of whatever book we were writing, and so it was like, okay, what's next? And I mean, obviously you do that every record, but like it really did have some finality to it that you were like, okay, this is it. And so we didn't write new music for 4 years because that record was recorded in 2020, but we did two records in 2020 and just released them later. So it felt, like I said, it felt like the end of the book we were writing or whatever we are trying to prove. So self-titled kind of felt like, okay, this is a refresh, a reset in a lot of ways. And that's why we were like, okay, self-titled seems appropriate for this as just the name, just a restatement.
Gotcha. Almost back to your roots is where you think you were going with it to some extent.
I think I don't know if back to the roots is the right word. It definitely back to that energy, maybe. Do you know what I mean? Because we're a much better band than we were when we first started. You know what I'm saying? Like just musicality. It's
Right.
just better. So there's no like, oh, we're going to make half the city too or whatever. Like it's not. I don't think that's possible. To
Right.
be honest, I don't think we could do that again. But I do think sitting in a room and playing, which is something we hadn't done writing for a few records, with all of us in the room, not just a couple, but all of us. We hadn't really done that since the first two records, and so um, it felt right. But yeah, I at least back to the energy. But like I said, I think we're just such better musicians now. It's hard to be like, oh, back to back to the roots or whatever.
I mean, it's been a little over 10 years.
Yeah,
I mean, it's what about I I think I had read 2012, 2013 is when you and Jesse kind of got together, and from my research, I mean, this almost didn't even happen. Like
the band. Yeah.
yeah, you guys kind of came together and you were like, well, this is kind of it. I'm just going to do this now, and then we're going to go on and do whatever our other careers. Well, what other career were you going to go into? I mean, it seems like this was what you were born to do. So where were you going to go?
Well, funny enough, the band formed in 2012. Me and Jesse have known each other for much longer than that.
Okay.
So we yeah, it was 100% Jesse. We had a really, obviously he was he's my best friend. We had this musical relationship, and we wanted kind of to do one last hurrah of like recording this musical relationship of ours, and which then turned into St. Paul and the Broken Bones. But he was gonna he was saying, we were talking about this the other day, like he was gonna kind of go back. He's from the Montana area, and he was gonna go back kind of with his tail between his legs and maybe try to teach music at a high school, or you know what I mean, do that. And then I was in accounting school, or wanting to be an accountant, when the band took off. So I assume I would have been a mediocre accountant somewhere. But I am very grateful that this worked out.
And really, what a meteoric rise that you guys had. I mean, after the release of your first album, I mean, it's almost like you guys just exploded onto the scene. How was that for you in the beginning there as a band to looking, especially looking back now from where you are now?
It's funny, what's the office quote? Like, I wish they would tell you when you were in the good times. Do you know what I mean? Like, not that, I mean, we're in the good times now, but like it, I don't think you understand that stuff when it's happening, right? Um, and then what's funny is your expectation is like, oh, well, that's what's supposed to happen every record, right? That's the really big, to me, that's the biggest fault of that happening on a debut record, is you're like, oh, that's the expectation. And it's like, no, no, that that is very rare. Obviously, knowing now, like, oh yeah, that is pretty rare, very rare, honestly. And it is. I look back at it fondly, but when you're in it, it's you're just like, okay, let's. We were in 2014. We were on the road almost over 300 days. So, and then I got married at the end of the year of that. So, like, I don't even. It was just kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't. You're just in it. So I look back at it fondly and go, wow, that was a really special time. And luckily, there's been documents of it, and I can look back at it fondly. But when you're in it, it is just, you just say, all right, what's next? What's next? Okay, all right, yeah, okay, yeah, and that's kind of how you live your life.
So going back to the album that's about to come out, you've kind of described this album feels more like comfort food. So thinking about, your spans of albums and how I really feel like you it's your albums seem very cathartic. Like, you one was about your father and your grandfather, and then another one was love letters to your daughter. And so how do you just switch I mean, was that part of the reset? Like, I'm going to switch these gears and let's just have some fun and get funky. Is that the thought?
There's an element of that. I think it's like, okay, I think whatever was in my system for that is probably out of my system to a degree. I mean, you obviously still use that stuff to form the songs. It's like sushi and Coca Cola, right? So you still do that. I think. Um,
You can't ever get rid of the storyteller,
no, you
is
don't
what
ever
you're
get rid
saying.
of that aspect
Right.
of it. But I do think that is part of the reset in a way. Yeah, I mean, there is. This is not a. This is not a like a concept record. This is just the game we played was best song wins. So whatever song, and we've not, funny enough, we've never really written a record that way, which is bizarre. Most records had some sort of vibe, or like this is, this or that, and we did not write this record that way. It was like whatever we think the best song is, that's the winner. And so and that's what we did. So that is definitely a different approach to what we've done. And I honestly, I feel creatively fulfilled doing that way. I think when guardrails are taken off, that's great to do some really great creative stuff. But then you're kind of like, okay, well then that means I can make anything. And that sometimes is like as crazy as it sounds, it gets kind of boring doing that. You know what I mean? So when you get kind of fascinated with great songwriting and in the classic sense, that's that to me is just more interesting, I guess, at this point.
So was it kind of like a Saturday Night Live kind of scenario where you had a board with a bunch of songs on it and you would go through and the band, you guys would vote sort of for
Yeah,
what the
kind of.
best
Yeah.
songs
I mean,
were?
yeah, we that's what we would, what's the non-negotiables for you? And I would say the non-negotiable songs were about five or six songs. It was like, I don't care what happens, those songs are going to be on the record. And then we had, another 10 that were like, okay, we'll see. Right. Um, and when you go through the process, typically you kind of know. For us, it was I don't know. There's still some songs that I'm sure will see the light of day that I was like, ooh, I don't know, but that's a good feeling.
Yeah, better to have some in the holster that you can
Yeah.
bring out later. So, I mean, do you think maybe we might hear a couple of those songs as you're on tour? Maybe you'll pull out some of these, that almost bootlegs or B-sides. Um,
I wouldn't even call them B-sides. I think we will be playing them eventually, but we got to get this new one locked in, which we're doing well. I think, well, obviously, you know, we we've enjoyed play. I mean, if you come to our show, you will hear a lot of the new stuff, and so which is a lot of fun. So, and I think it goes really well with our show. So it really does work well. So, but yes, eventually, yes, those will see the light. There's no doubt in my mind they will see the light of day. We just have to figure out how that works. It's
so there will
different.
be another album, is what you're saying.
I'm not saying another album. I just say you'll hear those songs. Uh,
Um, so you guys recorded back at Fame Studios in Muscle Shoals. How was it being back there? Did was it a different feeling now that again that you're saying you're not quite the band, stepping away from that first album release?
um, well, so with the first record, we actually didn't record there. We
Oh,
we
okay.
we recorded at the Nut House. We mixed at Fame, so we mixed the record at Fame. So we've never actually recorded a record at Fame until this last record. Obviously, in the area and all that, you know what I mean. Like we're very very aware, um, but it was really truly amazing. We had an amazing experience recording there. I mean, obviously, it has the history that it does. They've done a really good job of getting it up to date to today's times. Like it's not that it was bad, but it was just, like though unfortunately or fortunately with studios, you have to kind of stay on top of that stuff. And so it was great. What was funny is, a stream of revenue for them is tours of the studio. So we had to, like, in the middle of the day, there'd be like a 20-minute stopgap that we would have to stop recording and let the tours in to see Fame Studios. But it was an amazing experience. I loved it. I could definitely see myself going back there.
And how do you like see yourself over this span of 6 albums having grown as a songwriter?
I, phew, I have, I feel like I have now, especially with this particular record, I feel like in working with Egg, I feel like I graduated to another level as a songwriter, whatever that is, wherever I was. You know what I mean? I feel like I've definitely leveled up my understanding, my abilities, all of those things. I feel like I've gotten much better as a songwriter, and I'm still kind of open to learn and those kinds of things. But I feel like I've definitely leveled up and proud of that and proud of being able to grow because that is not easy to do. Sometimes you do have to take risk and really put yourself out there, and that's not really my style.
Which is interesting because juxtaposed with your
You're
performances.
right.
I mean,
Right. Yeah.
so when you get on stage, would you say that's a little more of a persona that you put out there for that's your stage presence
I
versus who you are normally? You're much more
uh,
reserved.
I don't know if reserved is the word people will use for me. I'm pretty, but I'm pretty I'm pretty simple with things. You know what I mean? Like I'm not somebody who likes to overly complicate things. Like dinner and a movie is sounds like a really great time to me. I don't drink, so I don't go out. I don't That's not really my style. But I'm definitely not reserved, you know what I mean, or necessarily a shy person. I feel like I'm pretty simple. You know what I mean? From rural Alabama, like it's not, like that is a part of me. But no, stage persona is definitely, um, that is, it's definitely a part of me, and there are really genuine things about it. I mean, that's my release. I guess that's my drug in a lot of ways.
Well, it's amazing to watch, that's for
Well,
sure.
thank you.
It's incredible. And I mean, you started out training to be a preacher before music took over. So do you think that kind of plays a part in all of
Oh,
that? Like,
100%. 100%. I mean, I love performing. I do. I love performing in front of people. I love I love entertaining people. To me, I love connecting with an audience on some level, whether people are crying or laughing or smiling or all to go through those array of emotions. And to be kind of the vessel for that is a pretty amazing thing, and not much different than um than I guess preaching in a lot of ways, but it's just a lot more cursing.
which is okay. It's okay.
That's the way I like it. I don't know.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
don't want it the other way.
That's rock and roll, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you enjoy kind of baptizing new people that kind of find your band, especially through a performance?
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's the best thing, right? When someone's new and you convert them. I mean, that's a really fun. It happens less these days. Early days that was all the time because nobody knew who we were. And I mean, we're mid-level touring act, so we still surprise people, which is fun. So I, yeah, I love doing that when we can.
Um, so you guys have been together for a while now. What do you feel like some of the biggest challenges that you guys have faced growing as artists and staying together as a band? Obviously, I know. I mean, my daughter's a musician. She was in her first band, and they've already broken up. So, what is it? What does it take to really to keep it together and keep producing at the level that you guys are?
Um, it's had its very challenging moments for sure. You especially when you tour as much as we do, like the niceties can go away, and you really you can't help but get to know people personally. Like I don't know how people are. I guess if you keep your distance or whatever, but the way we travel and stuff like, so you have to get to know everybody and people. It's a great group of folks. It really is, and we all, for to some degree. I mean, besides Jesse, who grew up in Montana, we all grew up in Alabama, and we all have similar. So that's one kind of key thing that we all have together. And none of us, super rich. You know what I mean? We understand that like you got to work and those kinds of things, and um, so yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it. It's I think the biggest thing, because it is a gigantic group project, is that everybody trusts everybody. They trust that we're not trying to screw them over or that kind of thing, and vice versa. So there's a lot of trust and a lot, and when we make sacrifices, we make them together. And when we win together, and that's a really positive thing. But yeah, it's definitely it's great right now. The atmosphere is phenomenal. I'm really happy with things where things are right now. But you do have to take that temperature, and check the ecosystem to make sure everything's okay, because there is 8 of us in a band, and make sure everybody's doing okay, and really genuinely care, which I do. I love those guys so much. I don't know what I would do without them. So
You being from the South, um, you know, do you guys really put that into the music? Do you really, is it, do you feel the Southern soul being part of the music?
I don't think it has any choice. I mean, I just think that's a part of the fabric of the band, no matter whether we want it to be or not, is just the fabric of the band. Some of the guys are from Muscle Shoals, so they were around those players that did all that. So it just varies. But that will just there's no escaping that it will be woven in. It just is. And it 100% has influence. Has influence. I mean, I sing the way I sing. Like I don't, I guess the only other thing we could do is country, which seems like a pretty trendy thing to do for everybody right now. So
Or death metal, maybe? I
death
mean,
metal. I
because
mean,
you
I mean,
mentioned maybe that would be your
yeah,
next album.
exactly. Death metal, southern death metal. We are. I don't foresee that being the case, but who knows, right?
So who are some of your biggest influences? I mean, I saw you guys have toured with some really major acts, including the Rolling Stones. I mean, is Mick Jagger a big? I can see some of that maybe in what you do. Who are some of your biggest influences?
Well, I actually never listened to a Rolling Stones record in full till I was in my 20s. I didn't grow up with it. I grew up, with Christian music and gospel stuff. So, I mean, some of my biggest influence. I mean, obviously, church is a part of it. Um, Growing up, there was soul music. It was there's my mom listened to this group called the Stylistics, which was a '70s group. Sam Cooke, Marvin Gaye, like pre What's Going On, Let's Get It On era. I heard it through the grapevine era. So that was really the only kind of secular stuff that I could listen to, and really did love it. And then as I've gotten older, bands like Radiohead and things like that, and Prince and Tom Waits and stuff like that really does fascinate me. But I mean, the soul stuff is definitely a really heavy influence.
James Brown, I feel.
James Brown, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
but I didn't grow up with James Brown.
right.
Yeah, it was a little too edgy, uh, but yeah, it's certainly. I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, but James Brown's affected everything. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like
Right.
James Brown's in everything.
The
So
Godfather of Soul, man. Of course he
exactly,
is.
James
Right.
Brown is in everything.
Well, listen, we're really excited to have you here in Savannah. Um, you guys are coming back. You've played here before. What do you love about the hostess city of the South?
Well, we're trying. Is it Miss Wilkes
Oh
dining
yeah,
room?
yeah.
We are. That is our one goal on Thursday morning. I probably shouldn't put that out there, but that is our one goal.
So we'll have to sidebar on that one, but well, I'll tell you off the record. Some
All right,
some
that's what
stuff.
I want to
Yeah,
hear.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
All right, cool.
yeah. We'll sidebar
Uh,
on that one.
but no, I love Savannah, man. It's a beautiful city. I mean, we know that. Like, y'all know that. I'm like, is it my favorite city in Georgia? It could be. Could be. I mean, it's a really beautiful place. I love going down there and playing. Um, we've always had great shows there. Um, Lamont Landers is opening up the show, and he's great. That'll be fun. But yeah, I've always had a good time because there's like a little like toy store down there that I really like. I don't know. I like Savannah.
Great, great. And you just launched a big European tour as well, or dates for a European tour.
Hmm.
What's it like torn, versus torn in the States? Like, what do you find a lot of differences? You guys, I'm sure, have a huge fan base over there as well.
There are differences, of course. I mean, what I always reference is like when we play, for example, we play Amsterdam. When the instrumentals are typically like the P break, when people play, that ain't the case there. They are just as into that as hearing me sing songs. And so it's really great for all of us because you're like, they're engaged the whole show. Not that people don't stay engaged, but you know what I mean? There are times when you play in the States and people are like, oh, cool. All right. Well, they're doing a guitar solo. I'm going to go get my beer. Not always the case, but it happens with more frequency here. So that's a big difference. And then, I mean, each country has its own. Germany has a different personality to London or England and France and all of that. So um, it's really funny. We did a really kind of all sorts of French cities one time, and they were very respectful. Which it's kind of a rowdy thing, right? Very respectful. So it was they would clap, then it would be dead silence, and I mean, you could hear yourself, you know, call for anything in that place. It was crazy. Then at the end of the set, they would go, they go crazy and cheer and stuff. So it was a really interesting dynamic. So as long as you're prepared for it, you're good. But if you're not, it can throw you off. But there's definitely cultural differences for sure.
Well, very cool. Well, listen, I won't keep you. I know you've got big things to do. We are looking forward to you guys coming here playing Victory North on September 18th. We're very excited about that. And if you stay with me for a little bit after this, I'll talk to you about the other stuff. But thank you for coming on. We're really excited to listen to hear all the new music that you got for us, and it sounds like it's just going to be dancing and rocking and just having a good time.
It's going to be a great show. We're excited.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
All right.
Let's just keep it real simple. Sushi and Coca-Cola.